All right, ladies and gentlemen, enough with the intro. We have bigger things to get to tonight. Welcome to RFC After Hours. We are episode number 35, I believe. The Right Opinion has joined us, as you can see in the Discord. I currently have it muted, but he is here, present, along with my other co-host. Originally, it was just me and Bowblax, but I saw Skully and Mystic hopped in, so I wanted to make sure he was comfortable with that, and he is. So we're just gonna roll with it. Welcome everyone to the stream. We have about, 90 viewers here. I'll go ahead and give shoutouts in the chat. Actually, let me go ahead and just reveal the chat right now. Boom, there you go. Look at all you people in there. You're on the screen now. Look at that. You made it! Anyway, welcome to episode number 35 of the show. I'm your host, AugieRFC, as you should know by now. And last night was a hell of a night. I think we can all agree on that. Whether you enjoyed the show or not, it was a hell of a show. Tonight we have the Right Opinion here, who asked to come on the show to give his opinion on the events surrounding the NCO. If you don't know, there's a lot of controversy involving potentially certain members of the NCO teaming up with Keemstar and Zoom to dox Just Destiny. And, while not everyone from the NCO is obviously, caught red-handed over here, it just doesn't look good as the owner of the group. So Right Opinion is here tonight to address everything, to give us the full story, to correct what is incorrect, and to really just explain things from his perspective here. Now, with that being said, I'll go ahead and unmute the Discord and get right on with this very shortly. Let me just go ahead and read out some names in the chat. Excuse me. All right, we got Premic in here. We got, let's see. Oh, hey, what's that? Godspeed Live has become a Twitch sub. Thank you, Godspeed Live, for subbing on Twitch. I appreciate that. Let's see, who else we have? We have X Biggie, we got Snobby Lion, Melodotty, Mr. Irish, Bam Crow, Clash Clans, Samantha, we got Just Dinah, Horror Show Mickey, Nope Nah, Smeef, Temporary Shade, Dank Net, Just Dario, and Catastrophia, and many other people in there. Alright, that's enough reading the names out. Let's just go ahead and unmute the Discord and get right into this. Alright, let me see.
Bowblax.
Alright, everyone, how y'all doing tonight?
Good evening.
Pretty good.
We got Bowblax on here as usual. We got Charmed Skull. We got Mystic, and of course, special guest tonight, The Right Opinion.
Hello.
Hey, how's
Pleasure
it going,
to be
man?
here.
Welcome, everybody.
Now, obviously,
no,
when it comes to the NCO stuff, I've been making jokes about it and stuff like that. But as you guys know, it's an open platform here. It's really just anyone can come on and just talk about trending stuff. So we have The Right Opinion on here tonight, and he's going to address pretty much everything. So we're gonna get right into it.
Everything I know. I
That's right.
Still don't know everything. I believe that's a Nick.
Oh yeah, Nick and Tommy. Yeah, but as far as I know now, Nick and Tommy still have big bombs to drop, which haven't come out yet, but supposedly are coming out soon.
Yeah.
So we can only speak on what we know now, and basically pretty much the aftermath of last night's stream.
Yeah, of course.
So where do we start? Oh man.
Well, we could probably start with a recap of exactly what Tro knows from the beginning of the situation to the end, because
All right, hit us with the recap, Bowblax. Hit us with the recap.
Or no, Tro.
I mean that's a lot to recap, but I'll do my best. So I believe it was February the 11th, and all that Just Destiny drama was going down.
Mm-hmm.
And Keemstar messaged Colossal. To my knowledge, I'm pretty sure that's what happened. Once again, I'm going off my knowledge.
Right.
He wanted to be added to the group chat.
The NCO.
And yeah, he wanted to add, the NCO. For reasons which I guess he was just pissed off about the whole his situation. I mean, he did come out of that looking pretty badly.
Yeah, he was pretty pissed. There was Twitter videos of him being upset at people unsubbing and getting mad about asking Justice that question.
He'd been in the group chat once before, and in that situation, what he did was meme out for 5 minutes and then try and kick everyone.
Right.
And
I remember the Thanos snap tweet.
Yeah, exactly. Those were the days. It was good bit of banter, and I was very passive in that, and I'll get that out of the way now. I should have just said no. I should just said, no, we're not adding him. Instead, I said, what do you want, guys? And of course, because the guys think it's banter and they like drama and they like spice, they said, yeah, we want that. I mean, it was a stupid thing for me to do, but Keem was a missionary that night, it seems.
Now, this is when Keem started interviewing Just Destiny, and the famous "Do you touch kids?" question was asked, which resulted in him losing around 3,000 subscribers.
Yeah,
which,
that was on the 10th.
At the end of the day, isn't even that much of a loss considering what his channel was.
I know.
But the idea going around is that he got salty about the 3,000, so he was on a path of vengeance, and he wanted basically to use the NCO to help assist in doxing Just Destiny. Basically,
he knew. I mean, I don't know if it started. I don't know what his intentions were at the time. It started off, from what I remember, as Keemstar like, okay, let's make exposed videos on Just Destiny. Let's expose Just Destiny, and there was a bit of discussion around that. I mean, some people had already made videos on Just Destiny, like John Swan. I think his video was already out by then.
Yeah,
it was.
And
now, you say this all happened on February 11th. I was just pulling up some videos about the situation around the time, and they were all pretty much right at the start of February. So February 11th, that would place like a good week and a half after all the main videos had come out. Now, let me see.
Well, it's the day after the Keemstar's video.
Yeah, that was like at the tail end of the drama, honestly.
Yeah. I've got the dates of the DMs that I had.
Okay, the Drama Alert interview came out on February 10th, so that would explain why on the 11th he was. I forgot the interview came out like a week later. Okay, I'm just making sure we have we're clearing the dates here.
Yeah, of course. You know, I'm pretty certain on the dates. So it was Colossal who added Keemstar, and at first, if I recall, it was just like, let's expose Just Destiny, and there was discussion around that, and then it was like with the cease and desist letter, there was huge discussion around that as well, and it was like, let's get him. We're gonna get him on that because there was feasible evidence that it was either completely fake or botched. One of the two.
Yeah.
In the end, it turned out to just be really shitty and cheap, from what I understand.
It was extremely debunkable from the start.
Exactly. And I think Keem just really wanted to just get Just Destiny. He was just really pissed off. I mean, there's no two ways about it, really. He just wanted to get Just Destiny for that sub-loss that he inflicted because he thought he was doing the right thing. And in a way, calling out Just Destiny for doing that was some ways the right thing. It was just the way he went about it pissed a lot of people off. And a lot of people who weren't local to the situation saw Keemstar going in with questions like, are you a pedo, as far too assertive, and maybe to certain more invested viewers that question may have been justifiable in some realm. But if you're an onlooker who comes onto Keem's channel and hasn't heard this situation, it made it seem far too harsh because it wasn't given really the depth that it needed to make it matter to people before then. And so Keemstar went in far too brash and suffered because of it. And he really wanted to get Just Destiny for that.
He wanted, basically what I gather from this is he wanted Just Destiny to be a pedophile, so he'd had something basically like something of that caliber to hold against him and use against him. Like he was that pissed. He was that full of vengeance.
He wanted to prove that
because when Keemstar came on the stream last night, Keem was like, "Oh, I'm doing the right thing. I'm making sure this guy isn't a pedophile." It's like any reasonable person. All right, like any reasonable person can look at the situation and see that there's nowhere near enough substantial information to come to the conclusion that this guy might be a pedophile. It was so needlessly aggressive, and that's what I was trying to get to Keem last night. But he kept saying like, "Oh no, you know, I was doing the right thing over here." But he wanted Just Destiny to be a pedophile.
Yeah,
he wanted Just Destiny. He wanted to prove it. He wanted to just get him, nail him to the cross. which is never, in my opinion, the right way to go about it. And he completely fucked up on that behalf.
Now, to get to the core of the matter here, to find out whether or not Giuseppe was a pedophile, why did he go to the NCO?
I don't know if the NCO was his main target for that claim. I got the impression that he wanted to basically expose Just Destiny as one thing, and then have the group of people like witness it and then make the video.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So he wanted
he wanted to prove it in front of people and then say, "Look at that! Go and make a video." That's what he wanted. He wanted the atmosphere, and he wanted to take advantage of that.
Okay. So once he gets into the go ahead, Bowblax.
Oh yeah. Well, I was just going to carry over into the next thing if you want to explain it.
Yeah, I'm just saying, so once he's into the NCO, all right, so he starts talking about this kind of stuff, you guys eventually get into a call, correct?
I wasn't in the call.
Okay.
There was a Discord call prior to the situation, but if I recall, that was just Keemstar ranting a lot.
As he does.
I don't remember much of that. It was like I don't think that was really, there was much that came from that, rather than we need to get Just Destiny, like that narrative. So the other call that you're talking about is the Google Hangouts one. I was not in the Google Hangouts call. So I haven't been shown the Google Hangouts call. No one is going to show me.
And that's the
currently.
call that Nick has that's on the recording that he's not releasing.
Nick has the releasing, and that's fine. I get me and Nick aren't best mates. We're on good terms. I like Nick, generally, but he clearly, like, understandably trusts Tommy more than me, and therefore it is important that he protects, the privacy of the call. So I don't blame him for that, but I have not heard the call, and I clearly won't until the actual video is out. With that said, as Nick said on the previous stream, he did message me and tell me what was happening, though he didn't give me too many details of the actual call. He told me that it was with Zoom, who he had briefed me was a shady figure.
Yeah.
I think I don't think there's much debate that Zoom's a cunt. And
Careful with your words there, Tro. Careful with your words.
I don't think any. I don't think I can mince them when it comes to people like that. I was there when Nick was going to the law firm, because the law firm, that was a legitimate claim that we could look up, because they had their address and it was a claim of credibility. It was a point of matter that we should resolve to see if that law firm is legitimate.
Yeah, and that makes sense. I mean, the law firm was in the email that Keemstar put out, so it was pretty much open to anyone to figure out, hey, Google search, let's see if this is a real law firm, and which prompted Nick to go out there and see for himself that no, it wasn't. When it comes to whether or not he's a pedophile, that's a little bit of a different story.
Yeah, that's where Zoom comes in.
And I have not heard the call, but from what I spoke to people in the call, and we'll get to them in a moment. It was basically Keemstar looking to prove that he was a paedophile, and if I recall, his text comments in the group chat reflected that. I personally don't remember agreeing. I'm pretty sure I said, this is the wrong. This is the wrong person. You're going down the wrong route. I trust Nick has any necessary DMs that will hopefully validate that.
No, there was no like thought of like, oh, well, it's just destiny. I can let it happen. But you were fully aware of like what was going on, and you were actively discouraging it. Is that what you're saying?
I don't remember what I said, and I'll make that completely clear. I don't completely remember what I said. What I know I said was that I don't think Just Destiny is a pedophile. I don't think the person they were looking at was Just Destiny. It came down to the dilemma. I went to bed at some point, and they were looking at this guy who we'll call Michael, because that was actually the guy's first name. But we don't want to dox this completely unrelated guy called Michael because it's not Just Destiny.
Mm-hmm.
So here's another thing. I got told from someone that a part of the reason that this was happening was because Michael was there was information found on them, but if you Googled this person's full name, you would have found that there were 116 people in New York with that name.
Yeah.
So
it was linked to the address of the law firm, to my knowledge, and what the conspiracy theory was, which was ridiculous. And I've got it with my DMs with Nick. I say it there and then that I think they are completely barking up the wrong tree. I said because I spoke to James Marriott, who knows Just Destiny's first name at least. And he confirmed to me that it was not Michael. I said it was stupid. It was stupid. It was a load of bollocks. And it's been pissing me off a little because it was very poorly handled. But then again, what should I expect with Keem? I shouldn't have expected anything else. That responsibility does fall on me. I shouldn't have gone in and hoped that nothing would come of it, because Keem is wild. He picks a position and he will literally go down with it until the very last moment.
So you're saying that Keem went in there with malicious intent, very clear to everyone, and they all hopped in a call, and you had some sort of idea what was going on, but not fully exactly, but you knew deep down it wasn't the right thing to do. Is that what you're saying?
It was all just happening at stages at that point.
Right.
For me, I went to bed at the time they were looking at this Michael guy. I didn't know what was going to follow. In my head, it was just be like, they're gonna follow up this Michael guy. They're not gonna go anywhere. They're gonna call it off, and we'll be able to get Keem out by morning.
Yes.
To get Keem out by morning, which is a situation that we'll get to in a moment.
Okay.
But at the time, Keem was barking up completely the wrong tree, and I thought, well, this is going to go nowhere. But it didn't. It didn't go nowhere, and that was the misconception.
Now I see Keemstar asking to come on. We have an interview for The Right Opinion. Once we're done with basically asking him all the questions and he's off the show, I mean, we're open to having you on, Keem, but right now we're talking to The Right Opinion. Anyway, getting back to the story here. So all of this was going down. At what point were you told what exactly happened in the Hangouts call? And like, what point did someone come to you and be like, hey, this is some messed up stuff. Like, they're trying to dox, they're trying to prove that he's a pedophile just to get back at a dude online.
The only person who spoke to me during the situation about it was Diorio.
Mm-hmm.
If I pull up the DMs, I'm not going to let me just he we spoke mostly about the Michael theory, and Nick, mostly discussing like, he said, and this is I can quote this. I'm sure he has no problem with this. I did speak to him beforehand. He said, "I'm watching a pedo play to catch a predator, with Keemstar trying to gain back 3,000 subscribers." Obviously, the pedo in reference being Zoom. As far as I cared, I didn't see any. If they were going to carry on going after this Michael guy, they'd realise it wasn't him, and they called it quits. And they didn't. And by the time I got up, they were still in the call. And they were wielding his actual name. At that point, Nerd City and me, who said this is gone too far. I think it's time to call it quits. It's people aren't thinking straight.
Because at that point, everyone was obsessed with the blood. That's what they wanted.
Yeah.
Basically.
So Keem went in there in a call with a bunch of smaller other commentators from the NCO group chat, and he basically either he manipulated them or they were already just as bloodthirsty as him to begin with, and they all got in a call with Zoom and were trying to find like the worst possible stuff they could find on Just Destiny. Ended up finding nothing, and all in all, it just makes like the entire NCO look pretty bad.
Yeah, it was a very, very shitty situation, and no one in the group chat was really happy with it.
Even the people who took part in it.
I mean, I spoke to them. They don't seem it, but I don't know their true intentions.
Yeah,
I like to think that the people, because I know who's in the call, and I did speak to them before going on to this, and I will speak about them specifically.
Okay.
Because it's been a lot of vagueness thrown around about who was in the call, and we'll clear that up very soon. But I like to think that the people involved are good people. Maybe I'm biased, and I am to an extent because I like them. I've spoken to them. I've been friends with them. I'm still friends with them, and I've gotten, my experiences with them have been overwhelmingly positive. But at the same time, people are flawed. People do shitty things sometimes. And I don't know what was said specifically in the call. And for all I know, they could have done really terrible stuff. But I can't say exactly right now because I haven't heard the call audio. And I don't exactly know what to expect anymore, because on one hand I do want to believe them when they said they didn't really contribute to it. On the other hand, there are people like Nick, Willie, Tommy, people who claim they've heard the audio too, and I don't doubt them on that, and they say it was fucked up stuff. So maybe it's just a case of perception. I don't know who to believe really when it comes to that. No one really ever spoke to me specifically about what was said after February the 11th.
When the call took place.
Yeah. Dioro gave me updates during the call. And I basically said, well, this is shit. I asked him, are you recording this? And he clarified he was, and I said, good, because it made sense that he should record this, because he's in a call with someone who is genuinely fucked up.
Well, someone who would dox and harass his family prior, like a month, literally like a month or two prior.
Yeah, and makes complete sense to record that stuff for your own defense. And frankly, as far as I'm concerned, that person can just fuck off the platform. But at the same time, I don't know what the other people's mindsets were. I've done psychology for a few years. I know that there are many situations where you get overwhelmed by someone else's power and clout, and it just clouds the morality completely. And when the situation was over, I think no, I think it was Nerd City who said, this has got to be a learning experience on why you shouldn't do this shit and you shouldn't fuck around with these things, because you get with someone who has that power and who has those intentions on what they want to do, and it does cause influences that should not be taken advantage of, and it's fucking shit. There's no, I don't know exactly how to say it, but I'm pissed off, and I hope that the call doesn't confirm my worst suspicions about the people in the call, because I'd like to think that they're good people. I genuinely believe they're good people, and it would be a real fucking shame if that was the opposite. I can't get my head around it currently.
Tro, I have a question from an anonymous asker that just landed in my DMs. So he asked if it was a mistake on your end to let Keem in the chat in the first place, and if you blame yourself for this to an extent as leader of the NCO.
Yeah, I was definitely a fucking mistake, and I kind of just didn't perceive it as a big threat at the time, because it was basically, we had him in before. He was a shitlord. He tried to kick everyone. We thought it's probably gonna be like that again, and it didn't resolve itself, and it got to the stage where I got to that mental dilemma where I was like, well, we could just kick him now. And I did actually speak to someone in the call, and I say, if he tries to do anything with information he obtains, I think you should kick him. But at the same time, he was in a call with a known dangerous doxer. As far as I'm concerned, if everyone just kicks him out of the group chat, what's to stop him from still persisting in the hangout and with someone who wasn't in the chat at all? Because Zoom wasn't in the chat. Zoom was never in the chat, and he was in the hangout, and I don't know what that was the mental dilemma that I was at, and I was hoping, okay, well they're chasing this stupid guy called Michael. Might not be stupid actually, but that's besides the point. Yeah. What happens? And I was hoping it would just play out. It didn't just play out, and they got his name. And with that said, from what I understand, if I recall correctly, people did talk him out of using it, and no one in the chat advocated him to use it against Just Destiny, because that would have been profoundly fucked up. No one encouraged him, and it was frustrating that it got to that stage. On the other hand, if people in the chat hadn't like people with actual influence like Nerd City, and I don't know who else did. I'd hope DMs would clarify that. If they weren't there to talk him out of it, like what would he have done? So it was a very double-edged sword for me on what to do exactly with Keemstar. But we did deal with it in the morning eventually. But there are other issues that we can address before that. But yes, I do take responsibility for not just saying no, because I just thought I always thought about it like we've been doing this for every year. The chat itself, nothing's really ever happened. What's gonna occur? And it just spiraled out of control. And I, as the owner of the chat, failed to deal with it quickly enough, and that was my failure. And it's not going to happen again. And it hasn't happened again for that reason. I have a hatred of confrontation. I think that got in my way. The thought of kicking Keem, like, oh, what's that going to provoke? And we did get in a confrontation anyway after that. I just carried on putting it off because I was just hoping we'd weather the storm, and we didn't. It was a failure on my part, and I was warned, and I should have listened, and I do genuinely apologize for that. It was a fucking failure.
Yeah.
All right.
Now, the way you're describing it, it sounds like to me that this whole situation fell in your lap. Keem approached you. He wanted to be on the chat. You had no idea of Malician until Keemstar was in the chat, basically like yelling and screaming. They get into a call. You don't really think much of it. You hope for the best, and then you wake up the next morning and Diorio is kind of giving you the recap of what's going on here. Do I have the situation correct? Is the situation basically blew up in your face way too fast?
I think that's a decent summary. Though Diorio was giving me updates while I was still up, but it was more of a case at that point. Well, the call's going on. Even if we kicked him from the chat, it wasn't going to stop the call, and he still had someone who had no association to the chat whatsoever in there. I think he had another person too. I think someone Nick Rakita or something like that.
Nick Rakita, the internet lawyer.
Yeah, and so I don't know when he was in there. But I heard he might have been in there. I think I heard he was in there. I'm not gonna fuck around.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting right now because I don't really know if anyone in that call would really have connections to Nick Rakita other than maybe Zoom or maybe Keem. I don't know, but that's interesting that Rakita was in there. It's actually really interesting.
An audience member asks, Tro, if I may,
Sure.
why not make a duplicate dummy group chat and add Keem to that one in case there was a problem with Keem being there?
Because Tro wasn't thinking that far ahead.
mean,
he wasn't thinking all of this was going to happen, in fairness to him.
Yeah.
I mean,
get
of course I don't. Of course. I can definitely answer that for myself. Really, it's like I just never dealt with a situation like that before, and
Mhm.
it was just a learning experience for me, and as soon as it happened, I realized I couldn't make that same mistake again by being too soft on people who may cause reputational damage to people in the chat who also had no involvement with it, and I just didn't know what to do, and I realized that sometimes inaction is just not worth it, not right.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. It won't give you the correct result. Even if it does prevail and nothing happens, you can't risk it. It's not worth the risk. You have to stop it early on before it manifests into anything else. And that's a principle that I've lived by and preached a lot of my time. But at the same time, I sometimes let that slip because I get scared of the confrontation that might have to appear before that. Because if it plays out and nothing happens, then I have to confront anyone and deal with any of the fucking shit. But sometimes it doesn't play out, and then someone's getting fucked over, and I know that I could have done more, and I could have. I really could have. And so on that behalf, yeah, it was my failure. It was my fucking failure.
Well, I think, assuming everything you're saying on the show is correct, which I'd be inclined to believe, I think you've done a good job in taking responsibility and just clarifying the situation. Now, obviously, I'm not going to ask you who was involved for obvious reasons, but can I ask you, like, how many people were in the call, if you know that number?
Call, I mean, I was going to happy to discuss them because I have spoken to them.
Oh, okay.
Before this evening, and and I feel like they're okay with it. I feel that it's okay to.
By all means, say anything you feel comfortable saying.
There were, I mean, alongside obviously Nick, there were 3 NCO people in the call.
Okay.
I think the figure that's being thrown around is like 7% of the chat, which would mean that 4 people are implicated. But I also think there was someone in the text chat too. But I do not know who that was because I wasn't awake at that point, and I don't know. But I think speak about the people in the call. We have we obviously had the people, the non-NCO people that we've discussed. And then we had Jay Aubrey, Slacker, and BWC. And those were the 3 people in the call. And so, you can understand why I'm a bit defensive over them, because I've known them all for ages. And I do have a good personal connection with them, and I want to stand up for them. But at the end of the day, I don't know what they did. I don't know what was said.
And we're never going to know until Nick releases the audio, which he said he will do, but we don't know when specifically.
Yeah, if later in the show, any of them can come on and explain, I'd be interested, because we don't know. Like, I've heard that like people were in the calls for only a certain amount of time, and like it could, yeah. So, like, basically what I'm trying to ask is, like, were these people aware of Zoom's history like you were when you were briefed, and did they know that they were involved in a doxing?
Another question. Why is it that shortly after I know that you and I have spoken about this, but it hasn't been said publicly, why shortly after yesterday's live stream did the NCO Twitter account unfollow all of you, and why did you guys remove?
The unfollowing was something that was, I think, right to do, because there were most people involved in the NCO are not involved in the situation, and therefore, as far as I'm concerned, I didn't really want people to just see the NCO tag and just immediately assume guilty, because there was a lot of memes going around about the NCO, and it got to the point where it was just like you saw the NCO, immediate negative association. And so I just wanted to disassociate people, because I think at the end of the day, people are still in the group chats. People are still really, really good. I really like them, and I think that many of them are really great people, and that's why they're there in the first place. And so I just didn't want any of it to carry on playing into the narrative of just NCO association. With that said, I can understand why people thought it was a bit suspect, and I might put it back in my bio if people want me to. I don't have any shame that I'm in the group chat. I like the group chat. It was just I didn't want people to look at my bio and just think, oh, he's a doxer, because I'm not a doxer.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. You're trying to keep people from being guilty by association and saving their careers by doing so. So it really makes sense.
Yeah, I don't think I was necessarily saving their careers. I was just saving a bit of stick. I think these guys are gonna always stand up for themselves first, and I still believe that everyone like involved is a learning experience. It happened almost 2 months ago, and I still think a lot of people have come a long way since then, and we all took it as a learning experience. And I don't think anyone else there has made the same mistake since. So I would stand up for them in that regard. I don't know what was said in the call, and obviously people will be deserving of their due criticism if that gets out. But at the same time, I don't think these people, as long as there wasn't anything egregious said, I don't think there should be any cancellations going on, because I legitimately respect them as great creators and great friends, and they've, in my opinion, they are some of the higher tier commentators that I know, and they've been doing great work recently.
Yeah. I feel like, for me, from my perspective, I feel like it'd be more like forgivable. And honestly, I like all of these guys, and I don't hold anything against them. But just from like perspective of other people, I feel like it'd be more forgivable if like they went into it, but they didn't exactly know who Zoom was, because you were like briefed on Zoom, but I'm not really sure about the other people in the call. And I've like maybe they thought what they were doing wasn't specifically doxing. Maybe they thought it was getting information.
Well, no. I think the thing is like it was about perception of intention. Nick and Keemstar had this discussion last night, and Nick said, Keemstar turned to Nick and said, "You were there too. Why does this make you any less guilty?" And Nick said, "The reason that it makes me less guilty is because I wanted to prove him innocent and you wanted to prove him guilty." And I don't know what the intentions of the people who were in the NCO chat were in that call. In my opinion, they just wanted the truth. And I think they wanted to know whether this was a situation and worth reporting on, because if by some ice age in hell Just Destiny was a pedo, it would probably be cause for legitimate discussion. It was just the wrong way to go about it. People can't go around just like looking at people and hoping they're pedos, and especially orchestrating it in such a malicious manner to the point where you're involving people
that's the key
who
here.
are clearly dangerous.
The fact that they wanted him to be a pedo. They legitimately. Well, I say they. I mean Keem and potentially others. I'm not speaking for anyone specifically here, but in general, the attitude that Keem had going in, and whoever else that agreed with him, they wanted Just Destiny to be a pedo. Because that's all all the public information that we had on Just Destiny, it just wasn't enough. Because Keem blew it on the interview.
It's because Keem wanted to validate his question, "Do you touch kids?" And people thought that was a bit ridiculous.
Blew it big time on that interview, and he wanted to get revenge. He didn't care what he had to do.
Yeah, and instead of saying, "Maybe I shouldn't have said that," he's just like, "Oh, now I gotta prove he's a pedo just so I'm right." That's kind of how I see it.
He wanted to make sure that question was validated.
Yeah.
And the thing is that I feel that was the problem. Just intentions were completely skewed, and people had this perception. I don't think anyone from the NCO in that call goes in with malicious intent. Not unless I hear anything otherwise in the call. I just feel like they were hoping that they'd find some relative level of truth, and I was always from the start. I was very, very, very doubtful that. I mean, I basically had no doubt, no question in my mind to call that Just Destiny wasn't a pedo.
If they found out Just Destiny was a pedo by some miracle or whatever, would you still approve of the method?
No. I think that the thing is that when you're dealing with these situations, if I don't disagree with researching someone, but when you're bringing in people who are known to be dangerous and malicious, that's when you're dealing with it. We've researched people in the past. Me and my friends have tried to resolve and investigate situations, but we know that at the end of the day, if we do find anything damning, the first people it will go to, hopefully, is the relevant parties. The thing is that
not the internet police.
You're having someone come in there, and he was Zoom in this instance was very malicious from what we understand. And he could have used that information in very dangerous ways. And I think people have a right to
given Zoom's past recorded record, it's pretty reasonable to come to that conclusion. I think that's like the problem. That's one of the many problems here in this whole situation. It's who was involved.
I think that was one of the biggest issues with the guys from the NCO in the call. They didn't know Zoom. They don't know Bloodsports. They're all commentary. They're just guys who want to cover the good trending topic, get the right message out, and I'll still stand by them on that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think
but
that's a big difference here. And even going back to the whole Susie Lou situation, is that me and Nick and Tommy, we saw Monday and Matt. We saw the War Sea Lives from a year ago. We have like an understanding of like the situation, the people around these situations, more so than a typical commentator. And you can brief them all you want, but they don't know. At the end of the day, assuming they genuinely went in there with no malicious intent, they had no clue who they were, researching with. They had no clue what this guy could have potentially been capable of doing.
Yeah, and
weren't you briefed on Zoom before the investigation?
Well, I'm saying they have no connection to who Zoom is, so they can get briefed, but they have no idea.
Nick told me, and it definitely registered with me that Zoom could be a threat. However, it wasn't confirmed that he was present until the call, and at that point, it was like, well, how do we deal with this?
Yeah.
And in the end, we thought, well, the best way is just to, in Nick's case, it was to record the call and make sure the relevant parties were protected.
Okay, so to clarify,
Nick had a hunch. Nick had a real hunch, and his hunch was justified completely. That Zoom was going to be in the call, and he was, but we did not know, and I don't think anyone else in the real chat really thought about it and took it seriously, because it was just Keemstar on a little project as always, and what was going to happen with regards to it. And I think on that behalf, I think it was just a case of people not really knowing better, and so I think that it was more a learning experience for everyone. Like, that's what happens when it can get quite feisty, and I think people did learn. We haven't had any sort of incident since that, and I don't think we'll ever will again. It was the first time for many people getting involved with people like that, and I don't think people understood the gravity. I mean, I knew some of it, because I used to follow the political stuff vaguely, but otherwise, I didn't really know much about it either.
Well, there's a whole separate connection between like the political sphere of YouTube and the blood sports. So,
yeah. I mean, to me, if I heard the briefing of like how Nick describes Zoom and like his just general past, in general, anyone would look at that and be like, "That's a pretty fucked up guy." So, to me, it's just weird that like. You guys wouldn't call it off as soon as you get that warning from Nick of the type of guy Zoom is.
Yeah. I mean, let me make this clear. I don't think the other guys really pay close attention to what Nick was saying at the time, and I don't think they really understood the gravity of the situation. But I could be wrong. And once again, Zoom wasn't confirmed in the conversation, wasn't confirmed in the Hangout chat until he was actually there. We didn't know that Keem was going to bring him in, though Nick did have a very serious hunch, and he did place that before. But I feel like people were just kind of, well, wait it out and see. That was the problem. It was just inaction that was the biggest issue.
No, I know you speak highly of the people, specifically from the NCO, who were involved. But if you hadn't said that, the way I would have walked away from this is I would have come to the conclusion that there was, bloodthirst involved. That they didn't care who was involved. They just wanted to get Just Destiny down because of some personal grievance with him.
I don't know. I don't know exactly what people's intentions are. I can't read minds, but yeah, I completely get that. We had this discussion about narratives and how your closeness to someone. We had a discussion earlier today actually about this, the whole drama and narratives. And Colossal said, with regards to someone else, he said, if I didn't know them better, I would think they were doing this out of malice. But I do know them, and I feel that this is just the wrong way to go about it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that given my overwhelming number of positive experiences with them, not just on a YouTube level, but on a personal level, I know John J will be very, very well personally, and we speak very strong terms, and we've helped each other out. I mean, we just collab with that on that Rewired Soul video, and I believe John puts his heart into that. I completely believe he believes every word he says, and he's not just saying it as some kind of facade. He's a passionate guy. He stays up late, gets up early, and he works damn hard. And I'll defend him on that. If he's fucked up in the call, then yeah, I'll give him my due criticism. And if people want to like respond by doing what they think is fair, then that's on them. But I hope that, and I do believe it because John's spoken to me about it. I do believe that hope that there will be like an element of redemption in the situation. And I said, since the situation, he hasn't shown me any malice, and neither before it. I've only had positive experiences with him, and the same can be said with the other two lads.
Mm-hmm.
So
I know Slacker specifically is one of your editors, so
yes. I mean, Slacker's a really selfless guy. I know his situation isn't always the easiest either, and so I'm really sympathetic to him. And maybe I'm too sympathetic to certain people in a way. That maybe that is one of my weaknesses. But at the same time, I want to help him grow his channel. I want to see him do well.
These are your buddies we're talking about. So in fairness, yeah, I can totally understand why.
I haven't seen any definitive evidence yet, so I still have to sit here and say I think
that's the key right here. Is the fact that Nick has this damning audio and it hasn't come out. Oh man, I do want to hear it, not because I want people to get hurt. Well, I mean, if people have done wrong, then I suppose so. But I do want to hear it just because there's so many questions here that need to be answered right now. And really the only people who can answer it are supposedly Nick and Tommy, who have the audio here, the damning piece of info.
Tommy doesn't have the audio.
Tommy said he's got stuff to dump. Last night, we showed his tweet on screen for a good while. Tommy said he's got info to dump, and he's going to end up losing friends over it, apparently. So I don't know what he has in store.
He said on stream that he doesn't have any info. It's just all Nick that has it.
It's all Nick?
And it's Nick's story to tell, yeah.
I don't know why Tommy was saying he has stuff to dump, then. I don't understand what he was saying there. But either way, there's audio here of someone doing something, supposedly.
Yeah, without a doubt. And if let that be released in due time.
I think the question here is whether or not it has something to do with the NCO or not, at least in your position. Because if all the NCO guy goes walk out.
The NCO, it's like as we've said, as many people have said, it isn't really the majority of the NCO.
Right,
we're just a group. We're just a. I mean, maybe other people in the chat too. I don't know, who exactly.
Yeah.
But what I do know is that if we balance it, it's a group chat. It's not really like a meeting place. We don't sit round a table going communitatis. People come in and out very casually, and therefore, even when this whole situation is going down, most people were probably busy. Most people were probably out somewhere doing something else. And so when the phrase NCO gets thrown around, it becomes kind of general. So that's why I wanted to specify the individuals, because at the end of the day, it wasn't really a group like commune. We didn't get together. It was just the people who were around, people who were interested, got involved. Some people more than others, some people less than others. And I can't remember the specifics, but I do know that at the end of it all, it was a situation that we wouldn't want to have again, and do consider like it was a bit. Shit.
Go ahead, Mister.
I have a quick question for you.
Cool.
Do you think you should have kicked Keem right at the moment that that you heard that the call happened?
I said I think it becomes a very difficult dilemma at that point,
right?
Because Keem's in the call. He's got people. In hindsight, I think yes, mainly because it would have been able to disassociate with one particular person, to my understanding, who did actually assist. So yes, it would have been the smart thing to do, but at the same time, there was no guarantee that I would know that that person was going to find that information. For all I know, it was just going to be Zoom and Keem in the call, finding what they want, and then no one was there to tell them otherwise. So from my perspective, it became very torn at that point. It was like, well, if you remove him, what are you gonna do? What you gonna kick out? It's like, what happens? You're not gonna stop him. From
Well, it's a
from
tough
working to
situation
achieve
because
that goal.
Keemstar is in a malicious motivation right now. So let's say like you kick him out instantly. Well, he's also got Zoom on there, so you don't know if either one are going to fight back at you guys or something, or you don't know if you should keep him on there and let Nick record, so that if they do anything incriminating, you have it on record. It's a tough situation to balance, and especially according to you, you weren't even involved in the call. You just heard about what was going on from Nick.
Yeah. And after that, I didn't hear anything else once the situation was over. So I didn't really get too many details. Nick gave me a basic rundown of what they were doing, but I didn't hear quotes. I didn't hear anything. I think that was basically it. And
yeah.
Well, Tro, I think that you've done... Well, go ahead to Bowblax, and then I'll wrap it up, because I don't want to keep on for so long.
To me, it kind of boils down to, like, who knew that the doxing was going on, and who approved of it, and who was against it. Because at the end of the day, it happened in NCO. NCO is a place, but the people, not all of them agreed, or not all of them even knew about it. I know there's a lot of people in NCO coming out now saying, like, what the fuck, I didn't even know this happened. So... It just really boils down to, like, who wanted this to happen and who approved of it and who didn't, and who was, like, against it.
I said, like, it's Keemstar, funny as ever.
Yeah, I see Keemstar has been tweeting. People send me that stuff. He has me blocked on Twitter because...
he blocked us because...
Look, I'll say what I said in the chat. I don't bend over to Keem. I owe RightOpinion a platform, and I'm going to give him the platform. I'm not going to cut off the interview to suddenly because a big celebrity wants in. No, it's not how we roll things here.
Yeah, and that's what happened when we kicked him eventually. You know, he was like, I had to deal with the confrontation after I lost the whole like I completely basically broke off any sorts of positive relations with him, and we had that confrontation, which I showed to Augie this morning. It was.
Do you want me to show that on screen, or do you want to keep that private?
We'll keep it private for now, but honestly, it just depends if what Keem says. I don't think the situation doesn't make me feel good, and it definitely comes across in those DMs. I had to confront someone who I don't like confronting me because of how assertive he is and how abrasive he is, and it was a learning experience for me that sometimes it's best you just don't let you just stop these things from happening, and it was a situation that fucked up and went wrong, and I don't believe anyone in the NCO had malicious intent, but I'm open to be proven otherwise. But that's how I've always perceived it, and we've moved forward. We're working on content. I wanna care about the creators in there still.
Go back to having fun, you know? YouTube's supposed to be
exactly. The whole situation, and that's the thing. I'm not even on bad terms with Just Destiny. I think he's done some pretty fucked up shit, but I still know, like, I still really appreciate what he did for James Marriott. I think that in many ways he really did kick off his career, and I don't think that someone who does that is necessarily just completely evil. I just think he just lashed out, and I didn't want that anything like that to really happen to him, and I just felt unhappy with the situation in hindsight. But
Well,
I didn't really. Sorry, I just.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I at the time it was just like, okay, this is a situation. I made mistakes. I've learned from them. We're gonna move forward, and that's what we've done. And I hope that will show, and I'm sure that will, as a testament to many of the people involved in the group chat. I think they're great people.
Yeah. Like, okay, I want to say one more thing before we wrap this up. To me, I feel like there's a line between fun YouTube drama and then like something going too far. And most commentators, what they do is they point out the people who cross that line, like Just Destiny when he copy strike Lieutenant Cobra, or like any other person that people talk about, like Daddy05 or whatever, that crosses the line. And then what happened is Keem and Zoom came into this, or whatever, came into the group chat, and they did something that crossed that line in a group chat where their job generally on YouTube is to monitor people who cross that line. So it just is a bit concerning that this happened in such a group chat.
Yeah, of course, and I completely understand that point of view. In a way, it was just overwhelming that someone really came forward like that, and just wanted to involve themselves, and everyone just didn't really think about the repercussions at the time. It was the first time something like that happened, and we weren't happy with it. I think everyone makes that clear. If you ask anyone in the group chat, they wouldn't have been happy with it. I think that it's important that people do have the opportunity to move forward, and but as I said, I don't know what's been said in the call. I admit my failures, I admit my mistakes, and I'll happily say that I've learned from them, and I hope that if any of that is contradicted by other people who claim otherwise, I have the receipts, I have the points to prove that I did actually turn around and stand up when necessary, and I'm ready to fucking do that again,
Okay.
because they are good people.
We got one last question here, and then I'm gonna go ahead and let you go because I know it's late over there, and I don't want to keep you on for too
That's
long.
all right. I'm kind of it's fine. I can go on if anyone else has any other questions. I just want to make sure this is clear.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, this is
I think
coming
you're
from
doing a good job of
Pugnit.
that.
Ask what the mentality is behind adding Keem.
As said, we had the situation in which he just kind of joined and kicked out loads of people. We didn't really take him that seriously, and at the end of it all, we just didn't really think much of it. We thought, rad him, it'll be a bit of banter, and
it's like a for the meme situation, but that ended up going dark real fast, basically.
Yeah. We just assumed he'd join for 5 minutes before he'd try and kick everyone again.
Yeah.
And it was frustrating to know that he was so driven to prove himself right, and I feel that was the issue. It's just some people are just so motivated to make sure that they are correct, and
yeah, that's true, because they want to spin their own narrative.
Yeah, and I think that I've learned from that, and I think everyone has. I hope they have, at least.
All right, fair enough. I think
I've been asked to have you check your Twitter DMs.
All right, I'll check them right now.
Of course.
Let me go ahead and check this real quick.
It's which Twitter DMs?
Augie to check his Twitter DMs.
I don't see any DMs from you.
Not me. Someone asked me.
Oh, okay. Let's see what this is. Okay. All right. I will noted. We'll noted. I'm not gonna keep reading them out on stream because that's not entertaining. But no, Tro, I think you've come on here. I think you've said yourself well. I think you've spoken well for the others involved. I think you've done more than a good job of coming on here and really like explain the whole situation, providing clarity, owning up to mistakes. I'd say if anything, the mistakes more lie on. Well, once we see the audio and we see, who's exactly, doing the malicious workarounds over here, I'd say that's where the majority of the mistakes 100% lie. I don't really see, so far, based on what you've said, how you, I guess there's a certain amount of guilt just because you added him, but...
Yeah, I mean, I didn't add him, but I kind of just... Problem was,
you proposed the...
I passed it over to other people to decide. And that was my mistake.
And I guess like as a leader, even though it's a Twitter group chat, so I don't know how much like leadership guilt you take from it because it's a group chat. But I mean, I guess at the end of the day, there is some sort of a responsibility to be had. But I think you've done more than a good job of coming on here and really explaining what's going on here. So unless you have anything else to say or anyone else here has any questions,
Brianna has asked to speak in the group. In the call with
Brain can. I mean, I'm not going to have a confrontation with him.
All right, so. We'll bring Brain in. Brain and a cat, you're on the air.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey.
Cool. Everyone's still here. I had a couple things I wanted to add. I don't come on and voice too often, but this kind of issue is kind of close to me. I've been a part of the NCO, I'm sure Tro can vouch, probably since the early days. Is that about right, Tro?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and I want to say that it seems like, people are saying a lot of things about the NCO, and maybe some things aren't being explained that right. And maybe another person from the NCO has been there for a long time, might add a different perspective. Let me know if that sounds interesting to you. I'll be quick.
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, cool. The NCO is large, and like Tro says, there's a lot of people, a lot of different types of creators, and people do come and go. Not only are they just not active, but some people join the NCO and then just leave, and then other people come. And although we have like 50 or so members, I'd say probably closer to 100 have come and left. I don't know if that's exactly true, but
not quite, but yeah,
not quite 100. But there's been at least 20 or more that have come and gone, and I think a part of the reason why Tro likes to let people come and go is because the NCO is really, as far as I'm aware of, is a place for creators to talk to each other and help each other with ideas, especially in the commentary community. So a lot of people go in there, they talk about their ideas, they talk about upcoming videos, we all give advice, we all help each other. I've made a ton of connections in there and helped me work with other creators, and it's been a blessing, honestly. Everybody in there is really nice, but because this is a commentary focused channel and because it is about videos, drama does get brought up because, as you all are aware of, commentary channels cover drama. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So when Keem was added, and I was there at the time. I wasn't involved in the call or anything like that, but I was there and I was around when he got added. It wasn't really that big of a surprise because other big people have come into the chat, chatted for a while, talked about videos, and then bounced. So it wasn't really, nobody thought twice really about it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
What else? Man, I had some other things to add, but then I was listening to the stream and I got distracted. I guess I'd like the 4% thing. I just don't want people to get this narrative that the NCO is like some type of like hacking group that's like going around and doxing and swatting people. There's a ton of artists and commentary people and and documentary makers and all kinds of different types of channels and stuff in the NCO. And it's a really diverse and awesome community of people that have been brought together thanks to The Right Opinion. And I just wanted to come on and say something nice about the group, since there's a lot of accusations going around, you know?
I remember when I first spoke with you and Bowblax when I was recording with you guys, and after we got done, you guys were telling me about the NCO and like what it was, because I was like, what the hell is this? You guys were explaining to me. I'm like, oh, it's just a Twitter group chat. So whenever anybody's like, well, why isn't the NCO covering it? It's because the NCO is just a group of people that you guys have as much power as any other group of people.
Yeah,
Exactly.
As the
yeah.
guppies,
And I think
or
that
as
was a huge
CDL
point
or
actually.
TPR.
Because you know, that whole situation, it's like, why haven't we covered a situation the same way again? Well, for that exact reason, because we don't want to cover a situation like that again. We want to let creators make their own decisions about what sort of content they want to make, and of course, I mean, that's an important issue. And I do plan on making a video about generally the whole experience of copyright abuse, and not just copyright abuse, but just general abuse on YouTube of all the systems. But it's not my thing. I mean, I didn't make a Just Destiny video, so I guess it doesn't necessarily apply to me. But at the same time, yeah, people didn't cover it the same way because we don't want that. And also, in the previous situation, there was a lot of personal stake with people in Just Destiny. I think people who made videos had arguments with him before. BWC had a huge conflict with Just Destiny, and so did Aubrey. And so they all released videos for their own personal reasons. Once again, does that
I've heard
make
people say
them...
that adds to the whole volition argument, that there was genuine volition here because of the argument that it was personal or something. And so maybe that's why there was a little more leeway when it came to adding Keem and Zoom. Now that's all speculation.
I mean, I didn't have anything personal against Destiny. I think what he did was wrong, and I don't think anyone is really going to dispute that. I doubt if it got to the bottom line that even Destiny would dispute that. But I didn't really have anything personal against him, and I feel that maybe once again that's my fault for not just taking initiative there and just realizing that I'm probably one of the people.
Brain echo.
You know, I shouldn't have given like the consensus to people who may have been hostile, Just Destiny, and that was just me kind of trying to avoid conflict. But in a way, I should have handled that better, for sure, without a doubt. That was my error, and I feel that yeah, as Brain said, really good people, and definitely, hopefully, we will cover something like that in the future about the system. I know there are a lot of people who care about it.
Yeah, talking about Suzy Lou for a minute, I think me and Nick sort of came to a realization while we were in a call. I forget if it was live streamed or not. I think it was. I'm not sure. I do so much streaming now. I forget like what's live streamed or not. But we were talking and stuff, and we were like, me and Nick were there when the Killstream episode aired with Mundane Matt, and he got exposed for flagging. The stream that we did with Suzy Lou was almost a complete replica of it. It was insane, and it all happened on complete accident. I was only going to talk about Suzy Lou for like a minute, then all of a sudden Keem comes on, then Tipster comes on, then the boyfriend comes on, then we go on a debate for 2, and it just leads to this escalation of events that creates this massive narrative that we felt had to be documented so that channels like this don't get away with crimes like this in the future. And it's because we were there when the Mundane Matt situation broke down. None of the other commentators were probably even know who Mundane Matt is, to be fair. So they don't have that same connection that me and Nick did.
Exactly.
And it took us a while to realize that and say, like, wait a minute, this is why this is such a big deal to us.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, speaking to the guys, like they genuinely like don't see like the huge issue. For me, I think the issue comes down to the fact that it was going on with someone who was knowingly like very, very malicious, with regards to that being Zoom, and I think that was where the crux of the issue came from. But once again, they just didn't perceive it that way, and I hope that theory is vindicated when it's surfaced, because that's how I genuinely feel about them, because I genuinely had nothing but positive experiences with those people, and I I don't think that will be changed. I hope it won't, at least. But I trust them. I have faith in them. And yeah. We've seen that tweet. It's a fun one.
Keemstar.
Yeah, Keem even did that with
And he got really pissed when I didn't let him on. He was like 5 minutes or something.
To be fair, he wasn't even in colors.
Yeah, he's just messing around. It's Keem. I would say that's what he does. He just messes around. But I was about to say that's Keem. He just messes around. But then all of a sudden I had flashbacks of what we were just arguing about for an hour.
Yeah, that's probably what people thought when he got added to NCO. That he's just playing around. But then they heard about.
That's the thing. That's the thing. No one necessarily like thought it was a big deal, and that's why when it was over, it was like, this is a learning experience.
Yeah, it's a bit of an eye opener with this one.
Yeah, and I think that's why people got a bit frustrated. Like 2 months on, it came back up, and people were like, "Oh, I thought we were past this." But once again, I get why people have brought it back up, because it's important to have that discussion about what exactly happened and what we can learn from it as a community. But at the same time, I hope I don't think that the people should be cancelled over it, not in the group chat, because also, I think most of them were good. Well, I think all of them are great people, or else they wouldn't be there.
I see Willie Mac.
Hey, I'm gonna go ahead and bounce out of here real quick and let Willie Mac have a chance. Seems like he wants to join the call, but thanks for having me on. I just wanted to come up and spread a little positivity in this.
Hey, thanks for coming on, Brain. Always good to hear from you.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Chat to you guys later. Peace out.
Yeah. Personally, I've never really, with anybody in NCO that I've talked to personally, I've never had an issue. Like, everybody in NCO is really nice.
That's right.
Speaking of someone who's really awesome,
Willie Mac, the new owner of the NCO.
Yeah, dude, new owner officially.
Officially of the NCO. I do want to say, although I now own the company, run the company, handle the business side, Fro is still undoubtedly our spiritual leader. So I do want to keep him on payroll.
Thank you. You're too kind.
Yeah. Just report to me every now and then. I'll handle T-shirts and whatnot.
NCO or not NCO, Willie Mac. How does it feel to be in charge of the sinking ship? I'm just kidding. I'm just joking.
Whoa, no, hold on. Buy low, sell high. Buy low, sell high. That's the plan here. We're gonna come out okay on the other end of this, and then I'm gonna sell it to Tipster. That's been the plan.
Dude, that Tipster money.
Oh my god.
Dude, get the Tipster
How
money,
do you feel about Keemstar attacking your company?
No, I'm sending the lawyers. All right, listen. We just got to send the lawyers to handle stuff like this. I don't want to get down in the mud. We are a mature company.
You should have JD as your legal manager.
Yeah, JD. I already have Just Destiny sending a cease and desist. All that
hell
stuff.
Yeah.
We're following T-Series lead. Actually, if anyone speaks online, we're sending the Mafia. Fucking them down.
Probably for the best.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't know if you guys did know this, but the old CEO of T-Series was murdered by the Mafia.
Oh really? Oh.
Yeah. Did you guys know that?
We need to take over T-Series.
That's basically what we're doing. We're taking a T-Series approach. We're seeing how fast they're growing. Basically, we need to contact Social Blade and make it so they add everyone's subs together in the NCO.
That's a good idea.
One super channel.
And then race against T-Series.
And then we race against T-Series and PewDiePie. That's the thing. They'll never see the third leg coming up for 100 mil.
I wonder how many would it be collectively if you just mash everyone to one channel.
Well, it would just be pretty much Fro and James Marriott, Wavy, and Wang. Everyone else is so irrelevant that it wouldn't
Oh, really?
Yeah, it might be like 2 million.
I thought most of the NCO was like the bigger guys, to be honest.
Oh no, we still got Nerd City.
Oh yeah, we got Nerd City.
Fossil and
Clown, I forget he doesn't upload. Is he even a YouTuber?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, he doesn't upload, but he still has a sub count. So
that's right.
Yeah. All right. No, we'll take what we could get.
That'd be like 3 million.
That's like 500k extra dead.
Can we get that?
Dead subs.
A ton of subs. Yeah. Can we get a bunch of dead subs on our channel?
Yeah, exactly. Oh man. Yeah. Well.
Yeah. I hope you guys didn't hope I'd add to the conversation. Well, I just saw it.
Obvious.
I just saw it. Yeah, I just saw our HR department doing a hell of a job in here, and I figured I'd come in and
you're so kind, really,
and support. Yeah, but I'm not worried about the whole thing. Like I have talked to like people on both sides, like Nick, all that stuff, and I really don't think that anybody and the NCO is going to be worried, or like there's going to be this bad reputation with it, or anything.
That's
like
certainly the impression I get from Tommy C and I guess to some extent Nick. Nick's in like a weird situation because technically he's still a part of the NCO, but at the same time,
the only thing people are nervous about is like, you know, Nick is an awesome dude. If he has the greatest intention, that's fantastic. But if he doesn't frame the video perfectly, think about everything he needs to balance to make a perfect video, to make sure that all of us don't get fucking lumped into this terrible mess. Yeah. That's why people are nervous, dude.
I think
Nick's only made YouTube videos for so long. You know,
people are understandably like, especially people who don't know Nick at all, and that's a fair amount of the people in the group chat. And
I got faith. He's taking his time with it. He's gonna do.
And I agree. Willie,
we can do.
I do agree. I think Nick will make an honest video, but it's easy to see how it could get contorted.
Yeah, because he doesn't even have to do it on purpose. If it's just like worded bad or whatever, like I don't know. It's crazy. I think he'll do it well, but I think it's just it's understandable that the people are a bit, so especially people who don't know him and don't know his intentions, and I get that completely. Also, why was I kicked from the NC? I'm the fucking CEO.
I don't know exactly.
Thank you for adding me back, King of HR. I think that was the Mafia. I just got taken out. Maybe I
the Mafia.
There's already like a revolt. People aren't happy with the new leadership.
There's a fucking revolt. They hate the leadership.
Civil war.
It didn't take long. I murdered like 3 people in there and just blocked them all at once.
Did it happen to be the same 3 people in the call?
No, it was like Flunderly and Flunderly was here, right? Yeah, it was him. All those people. Took out everybody.
I just think when talking about the story, it's important to establish NCO is the place that it happened, but all the people in it aren't necessarily implicated. Yeah. It's just like it's Keem invaded your land and did something in it and then bounced. Like, is it the people who live in the village's fault?
I mean, Keem did want to assert
comes in, dude. He spreads some disease. You got to just clean that shit up. Hide a few bodies.
I mean, Keem did want to assert himself as the president of the NCO, but that did not happen.
Dude, he went he went to kick the right opinion, dude. And he didn't realize if you kick the owner of the chat, you kick yourself. So he just assassinated himself, dude. He shot at Tro. Bullet ricocheted right back at him. It's the greatest thing.
Rest in peace.
So fucking funny.
Keemstar.
Yeah.
That's right.
Dude, I blocked him on Twitter, by the way. I feel so fucking good.
You blocked Keem?
It feels so good to he unblocked me and I instantly blocked him. I was like, it feels so good returning the favor.
Oh my god.
Hell yeah.
That's right. I need that unblock, man.
Yeah.
He blocked me live on the show. If I show it right now, here, let me show it.
He blocks you live on the show.
Yeah, because I wouldn't put him in when Tro was here. We just started the
I
the
saw
Tro
him threatening that. I didn't know he actually did it.
Yeah, no, he said I'm gonna block everyone in the call, and he blocked everyone except for me.
That's funny.
He forgot about you. Wait, I'm blocked. Why? I wasn't even looking at the live chat when he was.
Rest in peace. That's right. It's funny too because he was like 5 minutes, and then like a second later he's like 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Damn.
Well, I suppose Keem could come in now. I mean, we pretty much finished like asking the right opinion on all the questions. If you wanted to balance, we tossed Keem in here. He's certainly welcome.
Tro, you did a good job, man. You're a good dude. I don't know. Don't worry about it. Don't sweat over it too much, homie. All right, let's wait to see how everything plays off before we make a move, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
You know?
Definitely.
I mean, to be honest, you explained everything that you explained to me earlier this morning when I DM'd you about everything.
It's just funny because, like, Tro's this one dude, and for some reason he is now pinned as, like, the leader of our group. It's like, yeah, I guess he is. He invites everybody. But it's not like we're supposed to control what everyone does.
Yeah, you know? I really do.
About it. It's like I'm sitting here thinking this poor fucking guy has to like speak on everyone's behalf.
In general,
to be fair, like he reached out to me and asked me for a spot.
Yeah.
Like I didn't say like, Tro, what the hell are you doing over here? You need to come on.
That's the problem, though. Tro cares about everybody. Fucking knock it off.
I'm sorry.
That's a good quality.
Be a goddamn alcoholic. All right.
Become Tommy C.
Oh man, I forget you guys bash on Tommy for that.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
I like Tommy. Me and Tommy are cool.
No.
Yeah, Tommy's the fucking best, man.
Exactly, man.
But yeah.
Well, I don't think Bowblax shares, but
Well, whatever.
I have no problems with Tommy C.
The dude's a New Yorker. I didn't say he wasn't obnoxious or anything like that.
Technically, he's from New Jersey.
I think he's a good fucking dude.
Technically, he's from New Jersey, so he's the watered down New York.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me on to crash the show for a second.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, it was a good mood shift.
The NCO CEO has expressed that this has been officially a good stream. We will be billing you for like $50 a minute for every second we've been on here. Thank you guys for being part of our company. Appreciate it. Great clients.
No problem. When are we gonna get added?
Oh no, you guys aren't added, but you guys definitely need to be added. We don't do shit for free. Yeah. In fact, what's this? Hold on. What's your Twitter? I'm blocking all of you guys, just like Keemstar. He was right.
Oh,
he was
cool.
right about you guys in here.
Oh, yeah. Not if I block first.
Ooh.
Oh fuck! You wouldn't dare. All right, see you guys around. Take care.
I'm tempted.
But yeah. I was gonna bring this up when Willie was talking about how it's weird that everything's being pinned on Utro, because I said this even before the situation kind of broke out and became public in a couple streams ago when people were talking about like the Susie Lou stuff, and I feel like it's weird like how much power people put in the NCO and how it's like over glorified to an extent.
Yeah, I think the problem was it kind of got like intensified through that one situation, but it wasn't representative of the chat at all, and it hasn't repeated itself again for that specific reason, because we didn't like it, we weren't happy with it, and everyone in there agrees about that. You ask anyone, would you do that? Fuck no, we wouldn't. But it did happen, and if you want to have a discussion about that, then I think that's fair game. But at the same time, it's important for me to kind of like come forward with my perspective and like how I felt about it, because I did feel bad about it. I did feel bad about it, and after the situation had happened, and I just wanted to get it off my chest, basically, and stick up for the guys who I genuinely believe are good people, because it's very easy when you're not too close with these people to get that alien notion that these people are acting in bad faith. And for me, it was just like my chance to offer a perspective where I say, yes, it wasn't just on them. I could have done more personally, without a doubt. I could have stepped in, because I was warned in advance, and therefore, for that specific reason, I should have said no. On the other hand, I didn't, and obviously there was an indecisiveness about my decision. Well, not my decision, but there was an indecisiveness about my demeanor that did kind of prevent stuff. But yeah, other people could have stepped in as well, without a doubt. And it was still like a kind of inaction, and people just didn't really know how to deal with it, because no one really perceived the situation as serious as like when they reflect on when people are reflecting on it now, with all the drama like revolving around it. It was not perceived that way, and I get that actually, like, this could be perceived as quite serious in many ways, especially like with the involvement of someone who is genuinely dangerous.
Yeah, I'm just curious if sorry if I'm cutting you off,
of course,
but I'm just curious how many people actually knew like a doxing was going on versus just looking into like information casually, like going on Google Plus or whatever.
That's the thing. It was I don't know exactly what the situation was, but I do know that I mean, from what I understand, it was basically there was the call, and they were looking at. I say when I went to bed, it was Michael. They were looking at, and Michael was a complete dead end. I felt like they weren't going to go anywhere, and they did go somewhere.
And
I feel like a lot of people didn't realize how far they went, and when they did go far, there were people who stepped in and said, "No, this is too far." And I don't know who in the call maybe like aided that, but I feel like it was very easy to get caught up in the moment of bringing someone who they perceived as a negative force to justice, when there was clearly nuance to it and methodology that could have been conducted better, but people in the call just lost. I mean, people lose sight of that sometimes.
I wonder if they actually. Sorry.
I mean, it's very like I'm not. It's very easy to just get caught up in the Crusade. Yeah, a great example of that was like the whole wake up situation. Not just yours, but Watson's. It was a crusade, and it gets carried away to the point where people are so driven to prove something that they lose sight of what they were trying to find in the first place. It doesn't mean I think they're bad. They're bad people. I don't think they're bad people at all. I think though, and I'll still advocate for that. But it's one of those situations that's a learning experience, and you move forward. And as far as I'm concerned, everyone in that chat has moved forward, and I'll support them on that.
Yeah, I just find it strange, like that, specifically because you mentioned BWC. Like, he made an entire 1 million view video that was 40 minutes long on Sniper Wolf and how bad she was for doxing people, and then he goes and helps with a dox. Like, I feel like the way you're describing it is that people weren't aware that a dox was going on, especially since people didn't know exactly who Zoom was in his history. I know you were briefed. I'm not sure who else was briefed by Nick, if you'd sent it to you personally or if it was sent in the group chat in general. But it just seems like strange that if they knew it was a dox, like, why would they go through with it? To me, a lot of people in NCO that I've noticed when this whole thing is going out, they seem clueless in a sense to where they don't think it was a dox.
I mean, I think the thing is that what they perceived it as is because like everyone kind of managed to talk Keem out of doing anything with the docs. At least people thought they did, and they haven't received any information otherwise. It was like, well, he's got the docs. If he's going to do nothing with it, then so what? They'll just carry on. The whole process was fucked, and people agree there, and it shouldn't have happened. But it was like, well, this was a learning experience. This was the wrong thing to do. Be grateful it didn't have any great repercussions, and make sure it doesn't happen again. That was the whole philosophy, and I think that people did take that on board. I think they have taken that on board, and it was a messy situation.
Yeah.
But I think people emerged better for it.
Yeah, although trusting Keem to not spread a dox is a little
Oh, without a doubt, it was very, very, very clumsy and misguided in hindsight. And I think people understand that now.
Okay.
I want to switch topics for a second, actually, to kind of change the mood here. This is another criticism I've seen of the NCO. What's that, Skully, real quick?
Yeah, Keem figured out how to block me.
Nice. That means he's still here.
I guess he's watching.
Keem, if you're still here, I mean, we can throw you on in a minute. I just want to ask one more question from Right Opinion, and it doesn't even have to do with any of this situation at all. But in criticizing the NCO, I've seen arguments thrown out that the NCO are a bunch of like elitists, right? That look down on other creators for like their content. Like if someone does daily content, quantity over quality. Me personally, I don't have a problem with that. But I've heard, I'm not going to say who's told me, but I've heard that people specifically in the NCO look down on creators who do, like spam videos and are open about the fact that they make money specifically because they're not doing like the high detail editing jobs that a lot of people in the NCO do.
I mean, it's an interesting question because like group chats with people in, we bitch and we'll talk about people. And yes, we have called people out in the past in the chat, because
and I don't know if any of this has to do with you. You don't strike me as the guy, and I could be wrong, but you don't really strike me as a guy who like gets envious of other creators because they spam out 50 videos a month and they make more money or something like that.
I don't get envious of creators who necessarily get big off poor quality content. But I do get a bit, and I have got a bit annoyed when I feel that creators are quite aware that they're not making the content to the best of their ability and they're just pandering, because I feel that's a bad standard to set, and building a market around that is the wrong way to go about that. And as far as I'm concerned, that was the important thing that typically drives our conversations, because I have like content qualms and personal qualms. My personal qualms tend to be like with intention and like how I feel someone's gone about their behavior, and my content qualms is like where I think they could make better content, and those things aren't necessarily like the same, and I do tend to distinguish them. We bitch about people in the group chat without a doubt, and when someone's like we feel isn't being honest, who there are people in the community we feel aren't most honest with their intentions, we will strike up a conversation about the nature of their content. But we don't do it that much, and certainly haven't done it recently. I mean, there hasn't been anyone really who has provoked it. I think there are the usual suspects who get flack from everywhere in the community, and they get talked about, but we're not really like looking down on people. For me, it's a case in the group chat of adding people who I think have the drive to make the best content they want to, and that's what distinguishes a chat for me personally. I look at someone, I think they're putting their all into this. They're clearly very noble in what their cause is, and I want to support that. And and that's why I get I understand the point of view that kind people like look at the group chat as like a very elite set of people. We don't tend to talk about people that much as group chats go. Most of it is fairly trivial bitching. We sometimes spill some tea here and there, but what's there's nothing particularly special about it. We're not looking down on anyone, and we don't want to end anyone's careers just because they're successful of what they do.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's fair. Yeah, I was hearing some talking about that going on, and I'm sure like maybe some people have that opinion. You don't really strike me as someone like that who like would look down on someone personally just because maybe they make like X amount of videos per month. Clearly they're not putting their quality into it, so clearly they must be bad people personally or something like that. You don't really strike me as someone like that.
I feel that
I mean, maybe you get a little like you might see someone and you're like
I'll get a bit annoyed and I'll do criticism, but I don't hate on people for uploading lots of videos in a month. I care more about the fact of how aware I feel they are of the fact that their content might be substandard, and how I feel like they're behaving in their content, whether I feel it's honest or dishonest, and so on. So those are the details that kind of matter to me in how I might judge someone or how I might discuss someone. But I don't tend to. I'm not really someone who makes his feelings about people too open. I'll go off on a rant sometimes, but that's just a passion thing. I mean, I just get a bit pissed off.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's natural.
In that way, I can like kind of understand why people have this like elitist perception of the NCO, since a lot of people in the NCO, or a good chunk of them, are pretty like kind of public about how the group chat exists. I mean, you have a podcast and all that. And then also it's kind of known that like you choose people based off like the quality of their content or person or what have you. So I feel like for some other people, they may feel like, oh, well, maybe I'm not good enough to like be an NCO or whatever or what have you. so they might see it as like.
Well, see,
a more
I've always had the
elitist-
perspective in life, like if you've like, let's say like you've made like a lot of money or you've accomplished a lot, like personally or something, then I think you to some extent you're allowed to like flex it, right? Like I'll see like Keemstar, for instance, since he's on our minds right now because he's on the screen right now, obviously. So like Keemstar, for instance, he'll do like weekly Twitter vlogs, which unfortunately I won't be able to watch anymore. Big rips, but he'll do like
It's
weekly
alright.
Twitter.
It's alright. We're in the same position.
He blocked you? Aw.
Oh well, of course he blocked me. He
Yeah, I
didn't. He
guess
didn't
he
like what I was saying. But it's his prerogative. I don't mind.
Yeah, me neither. But he'll do these weekly like Twitter logs or something where he'll like show like his like fancy house or something, and people get like upset or something and be like, "Wow, you're flexing us poor people." I'm like, well, if you've worked hard, I think you to some extent you're allowed to show it. In a similar mindset, I think like if you're like a YouTuber and you possess like extremely talented like editing abilities or something, I think it's a bit natural to look at another creator who like let's say me for instance, most of my edits, I'll be honest, are jump cuts when I do the videos, and it's even worse when I'm doing live streams because I hit a button and that's it, because it's a live stream. So like, from that creator perspective, they look at maybe something like I do, or maybe something like even like what Tipster does, for instance, and they might be like, oh, well, I'm over here, working my ass off, and these guys just, basically like hit start, hit a button, and then put up, whatever footage they've got. And, maybe in some certain situations, they're making more money than me, or they're getting more views than me, or something like that. I can see like that being like a natural, just like naturally annoying to some people who have that talent. But I don't think it should be justification to look at those people as like bad people, for instance.
Yeah, I think that I've always had that two-sided perception. That I feel that for me, I started my channel with no investment whatsoever. I didn't spend any money on it. It was just literally bare bones. And I built it up from nothing. I'm proud of where I've gone, and if it all ended tomorrow, then at least I can say I had a decent ride. And yeah, I hope it doesn't. Also, though, you have to be kind of aware that other people haven't necessarily been blessed with some of the fortunes, not fortunes, but privileges in a way that you have benefited from. And I don't look down on people like who aren't making the best content. In fact, a lot of people message me saying, how can you give me advice? And that's what I look for. I look for the intent, the drive to make content better. And I think that really that's what matters to me. I don't care if people's content isn't the best. What I want them to do is to try and make it the best they view it can be, because obviously it is subjective in many ways, but it's still there's still that drive to want to get your content to a better level, and I respect and I support people who want to do that, and I don't look down upon people. I much more judge people by their intent and in that behalf, and I don't think I think there are a lot of smaller commentators who will undoubtedly do great in the future, and I'd love to see them do great.
Yeah, I generally agree with.
Let me ask you something.
Sentiment.
Do you look at YouTube as like an art form? Like people who do YouTube, like they need to like treat it as like an art form or something, or maybe do you look at your own videos as art, or someone else who does like a lot of like editing or spoken videos?
I try. I mean, the thing is that there are people who don't like my videos, and after it all, I want these videos to be an unfiltered expression of who I am. And when people say to me like, your content's bad, your content's boring, in a way, it doesn't necessarily make me feel that bad about it, because I feel that okay, those people didn't get anything from it, and I should always look to improve, but at the same time, as a form of content, it is unequivocally like just who I am. Am I a verbose person who talks too much? Probably, yeah. But some people enjoy that. Some people like that. Some people take away that. For me, it's always a case of wanting to qualify myself to make sure that the messages I portray are as clear and unambiguous as possible. But at the same time, that won't be for everyone. So I do see YouTube, when you say art, I see it as an expression of oneself. And it's definitely an expression. My content is definitely an expression of myself, because I don't make content that necessarily like caters to what's necessarily trending. I make content that I feel like is going to entertain me and entertain others. But I never lose sight of the fact that it is definitely who I am and what I want to represent personally on my channel. And although there's obviously a clear difference between my personality and my persona, it's still rooted, very deeply rooted in a lot of my principles, a lot of things I care about. And I think that's important when you make art. Art is an expression, and my videos are definitely an expression. Maybe that's not the case for everyone, but I think that yeah, I think that maybe saying it as art sounds a bit pretentious. But I do view my videos as a self-expression of who I am, and like I don't see myself changing that until I feel like I want to change myself.
Honestly, like I was thinking, right? Because like I like to like make fun of people who like look at it as like an art, because I've heard that argument before, and I'm like, all right, come on. Like I've always viewed YouTube as like, you know, a dumb website where you can have the potential to create something really cool, but for the most part, if you're just doing dumb stuff, like I'm just here for the entertainment. Now, the past few days of the shows have had a little more, I'd say like a serious material or something, but generally I come on the site to have fun. And when you word it like if someone were to word it like as art, like I'd probably laugh at them. But the way you word it was like an expression of yourself. Well, like the dumb stuff I do on stream, yeah, that's an expression of me. I like to have fun. So I think I'd agree with that.
God, I remember when YouTube started, and to be honest, at this point, a lot of people it does feel like art when I watch what they've created.
Oh yeah, certain videos definitely strike me that way. I remember I was watching this one video from this guy. What's his name? Mr. Amazing, I think it was.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know Mr. Amazing. He's in the chat.
Is he in the chat right now? Or you mean the NCO? I thought you meant the chat. I was about to be like, oh wow.
He's in the NCO.
No, I remember I was watching one of his videos a long time ago. I think it was on this Vaporwave song or something. I don't know. It was a long time ago. I just remember, like, that's, like, if I had to think of, like, a video that I would describe as, like, art or something, I think, like, a video like that, I would definitely, like, be more inclined to describe as art than, like, let's say, like, a Colossus Crazy video, because as well-made as those are, it's just him having fun at the end of the day. It's well-presented, well-edited, well-spoken, but he's also, sitting there, like, calling, like, people fat and stuff. It's just a fun time. So, yeah, I think for sure YouTube is an expression of really, who you are if you take yourself seriously, and you definitely have the opportunity to do stuff like that.
The Augie, you remind me of everything that I saw YouTube when it started. So like you remind me of 2006 YouTube.
But I do live streams. That wasn't even a thing on YouTube until
No. Not I mean, like, in general, your personality, no offense, you just kind of have like the scuffed, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm on here anyways.
Yeah, basically. I mean, if you look at my social blade or something, I just kind of came out of nowhere, and all of a sudden I'm here. And where you can argue where here even is, but I'm just like, well, damn. Like I popped up, and I'm like, well, I'm just here to just write it out and have fun. I mean, the shows in the past 2 days have been like
past my main channel.
I want to get back to the fun and the stupid stuff, but I think it was really like, that's not to say I didn't enjoy this episode. And I think it was great that you came on here and you really like I said, did the best you could to take responsibility for something that could potentially harm you and many other careers. I think you've perfectly dodged that. Well, I shouldn't say dodged, but you perfectly explained it and clarified it.
That's all I wanted to do in the end. I just wanted to make sure like from like, and I'd like to think I have a pretty decent memory, and I'm sure that will be hopefully validated in the future. But yeah, I do believe in the guys, and I do believe in the community in general. I do believe that most people are good, and maybe that's a philosophy that is flawed in a way, and people have told me in the past that it is a bit flawed. But at the same time, it's something that I will believe. Maybe one day I'll get jaded enough and I'll just turn into this mustache twirling villain. But until then, I am going to like hold my hands up and say, yeah, I could have done this better, and it was embarrassing. It did make me feel shit at the time, and reflecting on it, it made me feel shit today. But
that's kind of how I
feel
felt during the whole like Toon situation, to be honest. Because as little of a part as I played in that, I felt terrible when that whole thing broke down.
It does. It's like you feel like you could have done something at some point. And I could have, even if I wasn't.
Yeah, that's exactly how I felt. Because I was like, "Oh man, I should have been the one being like, guys, what are we doing right now?" But I didn't, and that's why I felt so bad about the situation.
To be fair, unlike Tro, you had literally nothing to do with the Toon situation. You just got lumped into it after the fact.
Yeah.
Where the people in this call who had anything to do with it were me and Bowblax, and both of us expressed our concerns multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I did. I almost bounced out like halfway through, but then I didn't. But yeah.
Yeah, and so, well, that's that. At the end of the day, we're well, I say 2 months on, I'd say the guys are making really good content, and I'm really proud of how we've moved forward. It's not things things are never completely perfect, but as a learning experience, it's definitely important for me to take it on board, and we haven't let it happen again. And even the morning after, I spoke and I spoke to Keem and said like what I felt about it. So it's important for me to just make sure that I'm not getting my principles corrupted by larger influence, and I feel like that's one thing that I've wanted to take away from it, and I feel that I have. I feel that at the end of the day, if you're making good enough content with that conviction, there is no larger creator that can stop you, and I'm sure that will be proven hopefully in the future with some of the guys in the chat, because they do make great content and I do believe in them.
Hell yeah. I'm glad you came on here, man. I just want to clarify for the stream right now. I did not single out Tro or ask him to come on. He actually asked to come on the show himself and provide an explanation. And not only do I want to thank you for, picking this show of all shows to come on and, clarify things, but I also just want to state for the record, like, it wasn't like I was just like, this is all Tro's fault. We need to hear from Tro right now or something like that. No, it wasn't the case. In fact, if anything, I never even heard Tro's name really even mentioned when it came to who people were even mad with. It's just Tro, Tro's a good dude. He's like, I'm the leader. I should come on here and make the statement. And
taking responsibility.
Yeah. And you can even argue how much responsibility he needs to take. I mean, it's a Twitter group chat. It's not like he's like the leader of like a company or something like that. But even still, you came on here and you clarified everything. And like you said, time will tell. But I'm not gonna lie and say I would totally 100% be inclined to believe everything you've said tonight. I think it's sounded perfectly reasonable. And if it's, Charm Skull says the same thing you basically told her this morning, I think there's not really any question here. I that's not gonna say it's not me like dumping on Nick or something, but I'm just curious now where this all goes, because I want to know what happened.
I don't think Nick has acted with any really ill intent at all, and I think
Nick cares very much about the situation.
I'm sure he'll. As I said, I think that it's understandable that people are a bit apprehensive, especially people who don't know him, and I think Nick definitely understands that. But I think Nick is also committed to making the case and the situation as accurately represented as possible. And I also think, from what I understand, he is going to be linking the whole call in the description of his video with certain details obviously censored. So hopefully it will all become clear exactly, and if there's any contextual problems, I'm sure any of the guys who were in the call would be happy to like clear that up, because they don't want this like defining them. They saw it as like a.
Nick is fired up about this thing because he was. You know how I met Nick? I met him when he was getting doxxed and harassed by Zoom back in December. So he wouldn't wish that on his worst enemy. I mean, we can all agree, like, you know, we all. Well, I shouldn't say we all. Me and Nick definitely have a negative opinion of Just Destiny, especially me, because, you know, Lieutenant Cobra is my friend. He's my buddy, so when people mess with my friends, and I'm not gonna like that very much.
I was furious with Just Destiny.
Oh, I was furious too. I was
of
like,
how it affected
what the hell?
Cobra.
Yeah, and I just met Cobra at the time, and even still I was mad. But that being said, it doesn't garner, you know, a dox or like sicking someone on him, let alone the same guy who just messed with like Nick before. We got.
We actually have Ricada. We have Ricada in the
Ricada, if you want to
chat.
hop in and talk about your potential involvement in this, I don't even know if you even realize
he was in the
on
Google
here.
Hangout call during
That's
the docs.
right.
So
That's interesting.
So
It's
two
pretty
things.
important.
I got asked a couple questions by a couple people, and I know, Tro, you can't particularly answer this, but if Nick is listening, maybe he can type in chat. Why wait 2 months?
Why wait 2 months?
Why wait
it
2 months
wasn't-
to admit that this all happened?
It wasn't. The thing is that for me, it was just a case of, as I think it was Nerd City said in the chat at the time when it happened, this is going to be a learning experience. Fortunately, as far as we knew, nothing came of it. We didn't need to necessarily make a big deal out of it, and people didn't want to make a big deal out of it. Nick didn't at first didn't want to make a big deal out of it, because, you know, he's dealing with someone who is perceptively very dangerous, and he just want, and as it progressed, I guess when people bring it up, then we discuss it. But that's the thing. For me, it was like a situation that I wasn't happy about at the time, but I saw it as a chance to move on, live and learn, and just be thankful that from what we understood, that no one got harmed in it, and so it wasn't necessarily like, I don't know how I would have addressed it, because it was something, as I said, something that went on in private, and it would be very strange of me, like, immediately after the situation, to like come out and say, oh, by the way, my people involved were doxing this and that, and I wouldn't know how to necessarily address it. But when other people come forward, and I feel the necessity to clarify it, and I felt that my perception is that in my opinion, the people in the group chat were not acting in intent. And that I'm going off limited information. I still haven't seen all the evidence.
Right.
Yeah.
And therefore, I'm not really the person.
Except for Nick has.
I'm not really the person who has the capability to come forward about it, because I could be presenting complete misconceptions without that information if I wanted to assert anything at all. So for me, it was like, well, something's happened. I'm not happy about it. I made mistakes, and I want to move on and make sure it doesn't happen again. And for me, it was like, yeah, this hasn't happened again, and so I'm okay with that. But yeah, I say I'm a lot because I'm pretty tired. But yeah, that's basically my perception. I didn't really see any reason to go public about it.
Yeah.
And because I felt like everyone had learned their lesson, because I do believe they're good people who pay attention to the repercussions their actions have, and therefore I thought, well, now with everyone aware of like what this can do, they would tread more carefully, and they have.
And the other question I have for you, which was asked of our mutual friend Ziosity, he has requested for you to sing. You don't have to say yes, but that was his request.
I mean, it's a bit, my parents.
Tro's done enough. Let's not make him sing on the air.
we can sing a song, but I doubt I'll be able to sing anything particularly loud, given my parents are sleeping right above me.
Tro, if you want to go ahead and hop out of here, then you're perfectly. I think you've done everything you need to do.
We can do a little song, but admittedly my throat's a little hoarse. But why not lighten the mood a little?
I guess.
Lighten the mood before we bring in Nick Ricada.
So. Well, no. Actually, no. If Nick wants to come in and
all right.
Let's maybe save the singing till after that.
Yeah. All right. If you want to stay in here, you want to hop out, you can do whatever you want. But I'm gonna go to bed.
I really don't know Nick Ricada, so I don't really know. Like, I mean, but if he wants to clarify anything, then that's fine by me.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, Nick Ricada, you're on the air.
Hey guys.
Hey, how's it going? Now.
Hi.
Here's the thing, right? We're talking about a Google Hangouts call that involved Keemstar, Zoom, Jay Aubrey, Slacker, BWC, Nick Diorio. Basically, where you guys were trying to get information on a YouTuber named Just Destiny. Do you remember this call?
Yeah, I don't remember specifically who was in it. Like I couldn't have told you half of those names. I could have told you Keemstar was there. I guess Zoom. I don't remember. I mean, now that you say it, I believe he was there. I don't have any reason to disbelieve it, but yeah, sure, I'll accept that roster for sure.
All right. Now, during this call, basically, Keemstar and Zoom had like a vengeance to get this guy's information to prove whether or not, because there was like some small question about whether or not this guy, Just Destiny, was a pedophile. And basically, Keemstar and Zoom were like basically trying to figure out ways in which they could frame Just Destiny as a pedophile, allegedly. Do you have any recollection of that?
No, I can tell you exactly what I remember from that call.
Okay.
Very, very simply, Just Destiny had allegedly sent a cease and desist to a guy named like LTCobra or something.
Yep.
A much smaller, a considerably smaller YouTube channel than him, if I remember right. And there was some questions about the validity of that cease and desist because it came from what appeared to be a very suspect law firm. There were questions about whether or not that law firm was real, whether or not the lawyers that were listed on the law firm's webpage were actually involved in it or anything like that. There was some interesting sort of business ties that were being investigated between like the registration of that website and the law firm and stuff like that, because it frankly, like, and coming from me, it looked fake. I mean, that's the opinion that I would have on that. So what I remember from that call was a concerted effort to find out if that law firm was in fact real. Whether or not anyone's docs was acquired during that time, I don't know. I mean, certainly some information was gathered in the pursuit of finding out if that law firm was real, but whose information that was and what it was for, I don't know of any specific intent to out anybody or label someone a pedophile or anything like that.
Were you there the whole call?
I don't know. I mean, at some point I got off the call. I don't know who else was on afterwards or what was done when I was done, and I don't know what was said before I got on.
That's fair enough.
Yeah, I can't tell you how long the call had been going before I got an invite to it, and I can't tell you how long it went afterwards. I was probably on it for, I don't know, if I had to guess, and again, this is going just purely off of memory, maybe 30, 45 minutes.
That's probably like, that definitely seems reasonable. I think that probably the call went on longer on both sides, but there was definitely, like, without a doubt, there was definitely a reasonable effort to try and sort out the law firm, which was a real question of contention, and I think that should have been cleared up, given the dubiousness of how it was presented by those quote lawyers.
Yeah, and they're like looking into it. The whole thing was weird. The law firm, the lawyers, none of them are localized in the state where the law firm is. They're all what's called of counsel, where basically they get contracted out cases. They don't have communication with each other. I only know this because I contacted one of the attorneys at the law firm. And I said, "Hey, is this a legitimate law firm? Are you employed with them? Do you have any information about this?" And he said, "No." Correction. He said, "Yes, it's a law firm. Yes, I am employed. No, I don't have any information because I'm just of counsel. They only tell me about what specific cases they bring me in on." So it's one of these. It's not a. It doesn't appear to have been like a full service law firm where in the traditional sense, it seems like you contact them and you get some basic service out of them. And it's probably more like a one-off type thing, which makes sense if you're going to send just a threatening cease and desist and you don't have like full plans to go balls deep on somebody.
Yeah, completely.
All right, so that would make sense given that you are, a lawyer. You're known as like the internet lawyer stuff. So they would have obviously like wanted you on there to, find out whether or not the law firm was legitimate or not. Now I'm hearing that you were involved in the attempt to frame him as a pedophile in the call. Do you have any recollection of that? Do you want to clarify yes or no?
Attempt to frame him as a pedophile.
Basically what they were trying to do is Keemstar had the guy on for an interview, and in the interview Keemstar made the brutal mistake of saying, "Do you touch kids?" to the guy, which obviously results in Keem facing a shitload of backlash, losing around like 3,000 subscribers. So Keemstar was on a vengeance to prove that this guy was in fact a pedophile.
If that was Keemstar's motivation, I have no idea.
Okay.
If he mentioned something about asking the question of touching kids, he very well could have. I'm not gonna come out and say no, that was never discussed. I genuinely don't remember.
Well, yeah, it's live. It's recorded on his YouTube channel.
It's like if Nick was only in there for like 35, 40 minutes, like he may have not been there when it like move to a different subject or so on. So I don't think it's very fair to like implicate everyone like as a general on the call, because people were clearly in and out, and therefore it's definitely important.
Right, it's not fair to assume that everyone had the same motivation.
When like people say like these people were in the call, I don't think it's fair to say like they were in there like every single moment or following every single development.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm just trying to figure out like who had what involvement and like what specifically were the motivations here, just so we can have clarity on the whole issue, so that people know, oh, this guy was in it for this reason and did this and spent this amount of time in the call, so that there's no question about anything.
From what I can tell, Nick was only in there for the legal portion of it, not the...
Right, which would make sense.
Finding out he's a pedophile, and not the actual doxing. Like, did you witness any doxing during the call?
Of any doxing, I don't know. Like I said, during the information gathering, trying to find out if this law firm was real, there's various information that was, I guess, accumulated about the law firm, about the website that hosted the law firm, trying to figure out if this thing was a legit law firm or if it was some sort of shell business, because there, forgive me for not remembering specific names, but there was some name that kept coming up, and it was similar to like this marketing company, and it had registrations that matched the like website of the law firm and some sort of marketing company. I think a public LinkedIn profile was the link between them or something like that. So whether or not like doxing Just Destiny, I can tell you with confidence, I have no idea the real name of Just Destiny or any personal information about him. So if he was doxed during that call, I mean, I don't know who he is. Yeah, but what I want to say is it's very possible that in looking through that stuff and gathering that information, that his real identity could have been uncovered I would have no idea like what that would be. Those two dots were not connected while I was on that call.
Okay.
Yeah. So you were only trying to investigate the law firm, not Just Destiny personally.
Oh yeah, I still don't even know who he is. Like I don't even know who he is as a YouTuber. I don't follow that or really.
All right.
Okay, thanks for the clarification.
Yeah, just want to clarify, make sure all the information's out there. There's clarity on the issue so that we know, what exactly you took part in. Because your name was thrown around like as being in the call, so naturally, people were like, wait a minute, what was Ricada doing in there?
Yeah, and guys, like I'm 100% open book. So if you ask me, like if I had a recording of the call, I'd give it to you. I don't care. But I don't record calls, probably because I'd give it to somebody. But no. And if you like were really interested, it's not very interesting, but I'd be happy to dig up the emails that I sent to the lawyer. I don't remember his name off the top of my head, but I've got them. They're very innocuous emails. Hey, I'm a lawyer looking into an issue, just trying to get some clarity. Are you actually a lawyer with this law firm, and can you confirm that this is a legit, like letterhead or whatever that was sent over? So I'm happy to provide any info. I'd tell you more, but frankly, it was a 30-minute, 45-minute, something like that call a couple months ago, and I just don't remember too much about it. I didn't even remember.
Was Keemstar the one who brought you into the call?
I believe so. I can maybe even check if you give me just a.
Yeah, sure. But yeah, it's good that we have clarity in this, and I'm glad you came on to voice your opinion here, voice what you've done, clarify things so that we know. Like you took part in checking the legal aspect of this situation, which was a legitimate concern. Because like I've stated multiple times, like there was no case, like that was no damning evidence that Just Destiny might be a pedophile. So I personally think like looking into that was just like so like unnecessary. But the law stuff was a definite, genuine concern.
Yeah.
Because that was public. It was using a law firm to intimidate a child.
Completely fair. That was completely fair game. Yeah. I think the main concern just comes with the fact that you were working with someone who has not you specifically, Nick, because you probably weren't there when that happened. But there was collaboration with someone who we think there was some knowledge that maybe like that person we know that they misused information of personal details in the past, and that was irresponsible on that part. I think that's what the real case was, but it's clear back and forth that there were people in and out the call, and I hopefully will get a better time frame whenever this video comes out.
Once the audio releases, it's going to be a lot easier.
I can confirm it was Keemstar who sent me the link to the call. It was after I made a tweet about the issue. I tagged Keemstar. The tweet was made at 7:45 p.m. on February 11th, and it was a link to there was Ben Lambert Esquire, and then I found Ben, he was the lawyer on that whatchamacallit. On the website of the law firm that sent the letter from Just Destiny to LTCobra. And then I found Ben Lambert in the exact same picture, just with color, on a different webpage at lambertworldwide.com. And so I said, hey, Keemstar, what do you make of this? Because I knew they were looking into the law firm, and it looked like someone had taken a picture and copied and pasted it from somewhere else. That was kind of my conclusion or summation on that. So once I sent that tweet, Keemstar sent me a link, and then we had the questions. And I could tell you my follow-up conversation with Keem, which was very basic, which was me saying I connected with Benjamin Lambert, and he said he is affiliated with Dash and Associates. That's the law firm. And I said I'm looking for more information from him. And then, it was some basic back and forth. Again, nothing nothing. I'm not going to read through every private message. I don't tend to do that, but it was just kind of a back and forth on, is this interesting or what? And then let's see, I got the email back from him, and I clipped out the relevant section of the email and just said, where it just says, I'm of counsel to Dash and Associates. I only see files assigned to me. He's unable to comment on whether Just Destiny was the source of the letter. And then, there's a LinkedIn profile here for a guy. I don't want to say his name because I don't want to accidentally dox someone, but there's a LinkedIn profile that was a question on whether or not that person was doing SEO or was somehow affiliated with the situation. That's about it.
All right. Well, thanks for that.
Was and just to clarify, that was the next day. That was February 12th. That follow-up conversation. I got nothing past.
All right, then. I think that's all we need then.
All right, guys. If I can be of any help, let me know. Like I said, I don't operate in the dark. Anything that is not legally protected, I'm happy to talk about. But I don't know of anything on that call. Actually, I can say with confidence there was nothing on that call while I was there that was nefarious. That was obviously nefarious. I mean, maybe people have their own motivations for sure, but anything. I'm sure there were some jokes or something thrown around, but I didn't get the impression that anybody was attempting to dox a specific person or anything like that. Like I said, what happened with information that was gathered, I have no idea.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, then I don't mean to hold you up here. Thank you for coming on, Nick Ricada.
Yeah, man. Anytime. Talk to you later.
Take care.
Okay. See ya. So from what I see, I guess the call was like, I don't know how long the call was. I don't know if you can
in fairness to Diorio, Nick Ricada said he was in there for 35 to 40 minutes, and the call was obviously longer than that. So the nefarious part could have been after, but that's just speculation right there.
Exactly. I know that Nick said that the recording was about 2 hours long.
All right.
2 hours. Okay, so the doxing must have happened after the legal stuff.
I mean, it's very easy to speculate, but it's probably like.
Yeah, I'm just trying to play both sides
we
here.
We won't know until the audio comes out.
That's the thing.
This is. I don't think anyone's intentionally lying. I think it's just going to be a case of how they perceived it at the time, and I think Nick probably wasn't there. Nick Ricada was probably not there.
Because if it was just only what Nick said, I don't think we would be having this discussion right now. No. And I don't think Zoom and Keem would be saying the things they did last stream.
Well, other than that, I think we've done what we set out to do here. Unless Keemstar wants to come in, then I don't really see any reason to carry the stream on. I already added him in the chat. Let him know, hey, we're going to be closing up soon. If you want to come in and voice your stuff.
Yeah, but there's no real point. It'll just shout.
Yeah, well, I generally like to give people the platform, especially if they've been talked about, and obviously Keemstar has been mentioned, so obviously I think it's only fair if we're going to give you thing, we'll give Keem thing, but Keem's not even here.
I completely understand that. I think I completely understand that, but it's fair enough.
Yeah. But that being said, I'm not going to hold up the show all night for Keemstar, so he had his chance, he can come in here, right. But I think it's time to just close up and carry on, and I just want to say thank you once again for coming on Right Opinion and talking about the issue.
Yeah, definitely
coming on, James.
Shed light on a few things that I had questions about. So, yeah.
All right then. Well, unless you have anything else to say, I'm gonna go ahead and let you go. But thanks for coming on.
No worries. It's been a pleasure, and I appreciate it a lot.
Yeah.
All right.
Cheerio.
All right, guys. Oh man. Tozier just sent a donation, and the font is all ruined. That's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny. I'll read all the donations at the end. I don't even know how many there are, but I'll read whatever. If anyone donate, I'll read it off at the end. But yeah, I think that would conclude tonight's episode. We went for about 2.5 hours. Generally, I like to go for 2 hours, but this is a little extra content here. But unless you guys have anything to say, I'm going to go ahead and exit the call and close the stream off. But yeah, I think it was fun.
Yeah, I think it was very productive, and I definitely applaud Tro for coming on and trying to like explain it.
Yeah,
from,
for sure.
that
I look forward to
perspective, 'cause it
getting back
definitely enlightened
into.
a lot.
I look forward to getting back into the fun, but I think it was good to have him on and hear him out. But yeah, with that being said, you guys have a good night. And I'll see y'all tomorrow.
Okay.
All right, there we go. Just exited the call. Let me go ahead and hide my screen and show the donations, and then how many. I don't even know if we had any besides what Tozier just sent. But that being said, let's see if Keem joins. I want to see a duet between Keemstar and Tro. Yeah, unfortunately, I doubt that's gonna happen. I mean, I gave him the chance. He didn't pick it, so I guess. But that's all right. Let me go ahead and see. Is the screen okay? The screen's not showing. Let me just read the donations real quick. We got. Let's see. Where the hell are they? Oh, I'm signing in my YouTube. Duh, I need to sign in my Twitch. All right, let's go ahead and do this. But yeah, good shows. If you guys don't like the direction that the show's going, where there's all this serious stuff, then I understand that. But I think it's been fun so far. All right, we got a donation tonight from Toes. Did the NCO open the folder? I don't know. I can't argue. I can't say for sure. I did send the NCO the folder, but I don't know who opened it from there. So we'll have to go by speculation there, unfortunately. But yeah, with that being said, let me find a good song to play. What? How about some Oliver Tree? Why not? Some non-boomer stuff for once. There we go. All right, guys. My name's AugieRFC. Enjoy yourself. Have a good night, and we'll see you tomorrow for the Friday, the Weekender show of the week. I think it's about time we wrap this show up. As fun as I've had, I think it's gonna be real refreshing to take a rest. But yeah, with that being said, my name's AugieRFC, and you're watching After Hours.